How's it going everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. And in this video we're going to be talking about the content that Battlefront 2 needs in 2020. As now we do have a much better idea on what to expect with this game. We now know that this game has somewhat of a future this year given the recent earnings call from EA. Battlefront 2 Celebration Edition made way more money than what was projected, and it looks like Battlefront 2 isn't going to be slowing down anytime soon. So in this video, we're going to go over what I believe this game needs to stay alive in 2020 from a content perspective. From heroes to reinforcements to maps, we're going to get into all of that in this video. But unlike a lot of other videos you see speculating on 2020 content, I'm going to try my best to keep this as realistic as possible. Now, if you guys are enjoying the uploads lately, then be sure to drop a like on this video and let me know down in the comments what videos you guys want to see next. And if you are new to the channel, then feel free to subscribe for more. But now let's get into this, and the first thing that I think Battlefront 2 seriously needs in 2020 is content for Galactic Assault. Specifically, new maps, or at the bare minimum, one map. You know, whether that ends up being Scarif, which is confirmed to be coming to Battlefront 2, or something else entirely different, I honestly would not care. But Galactic Assault needs attention, and people are more vocal about it now than ever before. And thankfully, it's actually starting to make a whole lot of noise, and there is no way in hell that DICE are not hearing it. Galactic Assault is the large-scale mode that Battlefront 2 was built on, and it is being totally left for dead by DICE, and it seems to be intentional in every way, and players obviously are not happy about it. And I think that if DICE continue to abandon this game mode, it is going to turn a lot of people off of the game entirely, and that obviously isn't good for anyone. Not everyone has the time to play Supremacy, where some matches can go on and on and on. But with Galactic Assault, you get that 20v20 PvP, it's done in 10 to 20 minutes, and it's got a better credit payout. So if the game mode keeps getting abandoned, less people will play Galactic Assault because nothing is changing, so the lobbies will be scarcely populated, and those who don't have the time or just don't like Supremacy will spend less time playing the game. Now, I know this would happen because, I'm in that boat. Galactic Assault has become stale, and I don't have the time to play Supremacy when I play, so I just don't play half the time. So this sort of stuff is already happening, and I know I am not alone with that. So DICE really need to do something with Galactic Assault in 2020, and it needs to be as soon as possible. So one new map, at least for Galactic Assault at the minimum, is needed. There is simply just no two ways about it. They cannot abandon that game mode. It needs content. But now moving on, let's talk about heroes. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, we just got 2 new heroes, but honestly, and I know I'm not alone when I say this, but it just does not feel like we got 2 new heroes. Like, don't get me wrong, BB-8 and BB-9E, they are cool, they are refreshing, and they are a change of pace, but they still, to me, just do not feel like heroes. They feel like glorified reinforcements. Now, I think this game still needs 2 proper new heroes like Ahsoka and Ventress. Now, I'm not saying that I think Battlefront 2 needs them right now, but I think that EA need to capitalize on the holiday period later this year with new big content. Just like they did at the end of 2019, which helped really revitalize the hell out of Battlefront 2 and brought in a ton of new players. And I really think that to ensure this game stays thriving, they're going to have to do something big later this year, and I think bringing Ahsoka to the game especially would be a really smart decision. Given the fact that Ahsoka is probably going to be on a lot of people's minds throughout 2020, given the release of the new Clone Wars Season 7, which she is going to be very heavily involved in. Now, I think that the release of Ahsoka and Ventress is probably the biggest weapon that DICE have up their sleeve in terms of content. Now, if DICE at the bare minimum announce that these 2 will be coming to the game, then that is going to boost Battlefront 2's popularity once again just by itself. Like, just look how the community reacted when Scarif was announced to come to Battlefront 2. It's a map we've seen before and it's recycled, but it's still made a lot of noise, so just imagine what Ahsoka could do for this game. So like I said, the release, or at least the announcement of Ahsoka and Ventress later this year, is something that just has to happen in order for this game to keep thriving. I honestly wouldn't even be against Jyn Erso and Krennic coming to Battlefront 2, but either way, I really hope that BB-8 and BB-9E are not the last heroes we're going to see in Battlefront 2, because that for me spells the end of the game. But now moving on, let's talk about some reinforcements. Now, I think it's time that we address something that I think actually flies under the radar a fair bit. And that is the inclusion of Magna Guards in Battlefront 2. Now, for real, I don't know how these are not in the game at this point. They have some really cool scenes in Revenge of the Sith, and they would be a perfect counter to lightsaber heroes. Now, maybe they're not in the game because they might take up too much development time at DICE because they have an Electro staff. That would be fair enough, but I mean, they could work just like they did in the original Battlefront 2 with just a blaster, and I don't know, maybe they could add in the Electro staff as an ability. And therefore, it could work a lot like the Commando Droid's Vibro Sword. Now, I honestly think that that would be pretty awesome to see. Like, the Magna Guard is one of those things that I feel is just missing in terms of Clone Wars content in Battlefront 2. Like, we have some amazing Clone Wars content in this game, and the Clone Wars battles in this game can be extremely immersive, but there are a few nails sticking out when it comes down to it, and I feel like the absence of the Magna Guard is one of those nails. I think that the next reinforcement that comes into this game needs to be the Magna Guard. Granted, we have a spread of Clone Wars reinforcements compared to the other eras, but you know, that's the way it should be. The Clone Wars era just has so much more to offer, and DICE would be crazy to not capitalize on that. Now, the Magna Guard will obviously need a counter, and I think the perfect counter would be the Clone Paratrooper. Apart from their really cool design, I think they would make great additions to Battlefront 2's reinforcement roster. Are they needed as much as the Magna Guard? Not really, but you know, they wouldn't add just one reinforcement for the Separatists without adding one for the Republic. So although the game isn't in dire need of Clone Wars reinforcements, I think the addition of these two alongside Ahsoka and Ventress, like I spoke about earlier, in one big DLC at the end of 2020, just to capitalize once again on that holiday period and keep Battlefront 2 booming, it would just be huge for this game, and it would further cement it as probably the best Battlefront game ever made, in my opinion. Because I do think that Battlefront 2 will start to fizzle out in the latter half of 2020, and this could be the thing that, you know, really helps keep Battlefront 2 popular. And the last thing that I want to touch on is hero skins. Now, hero skins are a very important aspect of Battlefront 2 for a lot of people, and this is well known by DICE, and although we have gotten a decent number of hero skins since launch, they have been that few and far between that the purpose of them coming into the game as a way to monetize with crystals has been rendered pointless. Now, I think given how well Battlefront 2 did financially with the Celebration Edition, that EA might put more money into this game with maybe more developers to help push out things like hero skins. So in that way, they can continue to make money on Battlefront 2. And, you know, I hate microtransactions as much as anyone, but if they were to crap out a ton of hero skins to the point where, you know, we felt the urge to buy crystals to get them, then, you know, I would happily flick, you know, $10 here or there for the skins to help support the game. But in order for that to happen, there needs to be a bombardment of hero skins because most people have a ton of credits already. Now, I know there is going to be people that say, oh, you're an idiot. Why would you want microtransactions in the game? You're stupid, blah, blah, blah. I know people are going to say that because they've said it before when I've said this. And, you know, to those people, they don't get it. The more money the game makes, the more money gets put back into the game, the more content comes out. And then the more service we get until the game's live service is stopped. It's plain and simple. And if people can't see that, then, you know, that's their problem. But anyway, as for the skins I would like to see, obviously villain skins are the main topic, and there is going to be a focus put on villain skins throughout this year. So I personally think that Darth Maul needs a skin. Whether that's a Clone Wars appearance or just a generic hooded skin, he needs customization. As for Palpatine, maybe he could have, you know, a Rise of Skywalker skin. And the same for Rey, she could have her hood and yellow lightsaber from episode 9. We could also get a battle damaged skin for Vader. Obviously nothing too crazy, but think like the Shattered Armor Grievous skin and basically that for Vader. Now, I know there's going to be people that say, oh, but yeah, but battle damaged Vader's not canon, so how can that happen? Honestly, Battlefront 2 doesn't follow canon. You can run around on Naboo with Rey slicing up separatist droids. But yeah, anyway, we could see a ton of skins like that. Now, modders actually keep showing up what DICE could be doing with hero skins, and it's gotten a little embarrassing for DICE if I'm honest. Granted, I know having them made properly takes more work than what modders do, but not everyone sees it that way. And lastly, I almost forgot, new blasters. Battlefront 2 needs new blasters at some point in 2020. The class gameplay is just way too stale, and it's too hard to enjoy for people that have played since launch. Now, from all accounts, we might be getting some blasters soon, so that's worth keeping an eye out for. So all of the content I spoke about in this video, I just feel it needs to be a part of this game at some point in 2020, whether it's announced or actually in the game. I feel like all of it is very possible, especially taking into consideration how successful the game has been in the past few months. And I do expect EA to capitalize on that success. Now, do I think all of this will come? No, but I think it's possible and reasonable. Especially when you take into consideration, previous years when the game wasn't doing so well and, what content was mustered up in those dark times. But I want to know what you guys think of all of this. Be sure to post your thoughts in the comments below. And if you did go on to enjoy this video, then be sure to drop a like, as it does help the channel out a great deal, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But that is going to do it for me today, so thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you all again in the next one.